So I think we're going to go ahead and get started. Hopefully you can hear me. Thank you for joining if you're coming in through Zoom. In a few minutes when we have our guest speaker start the presentation, I'm going to go ahead and turn my computer screen so it'll be displayed on her. But what we're going to do first is allow people to kind of go around the room and introduce themselves here in person, and then we'll turn it over to some introductions from whoever is attending through Zoom that wants to give us a brief intro. And so I just want to know your name, your organization, and then at the end, if there are any special requests of the group, you can go ahead and share that. My name is Maria Semple. My company is the Prospect Finder. I'm a volunteer, I guess, coordinator of the meetings these days since we went to Zoom version, and I'm also the person that's been sending out the email reminders. And so I want to thank everybody for being here today. We're going to do our best in our first hybrid meeting. And I'm going to turn it over to Kurt to just do his quick intro.
Hi, I'm Kurt Berry. I'm on Outreach and Missions here in the Church Council at Ann Street, and we're happy to have everybody here today and on Zoom and in person. And we have been in ministry with Pastor David Bruce that you'll meet, and Gabby from the beginning for about 12 years. It's a major ministry that we've helped finance. And we're so happy to have everyone here. The other thing is I want to give a little plug to Joida, and this is a site for the Carteret long-term recovery disaster relief teams that come here, and we spent $200,000 last year redoing the Eure building, which we're in, and on the third floor we have built rooms with bunks that can sleep 20 people. And after Florence, we decided that would be a major ministry that we would fund here, and we have 25 people that are on our disaster relief team, and hopefully we'll never need them again. But thank you for being here, and we look forward to Gabby's presentation.
Okay, great. I'm going to turn it over to Tom to introduce himself.
Good morning. I'm Tom Hussman. Serve as the executive director at Camp Albemarle. I think Maria is the perfect example of, you do someone a favor and it becomes your job. That's what happened to Maria. So, anyway, glad to be here.
Good morning. I'm Mary Ann Tormey. I'm with the Old Beaufort Farmers Market. We open on Saturday. For the season, we will have a parade with Mayor Sharon Harker giving a little speech to open up the market, and we're looking forward to getting started for the season.
What time does it kick off?
The parade will be at 10. The market opens at 9, and we are open from 9 to 1 on Saturdays between now and late November.
And the parade will be at the market?
At the market.
Oh, fun.
Yep, East Carteret High School band will be playing.
Oh, fun.
And
well, good luck. I hope it's a great season.
thank you.
Good morning. I'm Tammy Blizzard. I'm with Crystal Coast Habitat. We will also be at the Beaufort market with our little playhouse and trying to educate folks on what we do. We're focused on building right now. We are also doing access ramps. There seems to be a huge need for that in the county. So if you know of a family that might need an access ramp, please see me, call me. I've got a gentleman right now who is funding them. So.
I'm Gino Rossi. I just have a heart for the homeless and impoverished people, and trying to help open doors and push people to get together so as a community we can help these people in need.
Turn it over to you, sir.
Good morning. My name is David Bruce, and I'm the pastor at Calvary Baptist Church, and one of the original members of the Beaufort Fellowship of Churches, which was when I moved here, I shouldn't say original, but when I moved here, it was organized to get churches in the area working together. And out of that sprang a local food pantry where it was given out at one place, and as the years have gone by, that has developed into Loaves and Fishes of Beaufort. We incorporated that, and I was the only one left here. Everybody else moved away, so now I'm the executive director. And currently we have an addictions, residential addictions recovery ministry, 2 thrift shops, and a lot of different food programs. And I wanted to say the great partnership we've had with Ann Street Methodist and other churches in the area. We never could have done it alone.
Hello, my name is Gabby. I also work at Loaves and Fishes, and I will be the one giving this presentation today. Everybody this year, there's extra brochures, and y'all are welcome to take as many as you want and do whatever with them. So, thank you everybody for taking the time to listen to us and hear what we have to say about the ministry. Our values. Loaves and Fishes, I always say we like to clothe the naked, feed the hungry, and help break the chains of addiction, and that's it in a nutshell. But our values are based on Matthew 25:31 through 46. Do you want to elaborate on that a little?
Well, yeah, we felt like these were the main things we needed to do. God led us to, number one, we started feeding people. And there seemed to be a great need, more than what we originally thought years ago. And so far we've given out close to 2 million pounds of food as a unit. I mean, as a corporate, what am I trying to say? Churches working together made that happen. And then the thrift shops to fund the food ministry, we wound up, oh, she's going to get in there. Okay. Well, maybe I'll just shut up.
It's a Christian-based ministry, and that's the passage, the Bible passage that it's based on.
Yeah, I get enthusiastic about it.
Well, you should.
Amen.
So the history of Loaves and Fishes, as he said, it started with the Beaufort Fellowship of Churches around 2007. They wanted to secure a small fund just to help people that were in need through various ways. Started with a food pantry at a Calvary Baptist church, and that was funded by a lot of local churches. And we also had Celebrate Recovery meetings, which is sort of like 12 steps, but a little, he says it's like Christian 12 steps. And in 2009, we incorporated as a 501c3 and opened our first thrift shop to help fund the ministry. That was on Hedrick Street in Beaufort, and that's one of the original crew.
First 4th of July parade that we ran.
So eventually we moved to Beaufort Square Shopping Center, which is where we're at right now, over by Rose's and the library. Over the years we've continued to grow. We started a Backpack Blessings program, which I'll go further into what that is in a few minutes. And we also started our recovery program in 2014, which originated from our Celebrate Recovery meetings. And I'll go further into what our addiction program looks like too. We started partnering with the Food Bank of Central and Eastern North Carolina, which is who we get our food from for the food bank. And that's basically the history of Loaves and Fishes in a nutshell. Today we have 2 thrift shops, and it's just amazing over the years how our thrift shops have expanded. It's quite interesting. Like he said, he started with a small one on Hedrick Street, and we now have 2 in the Beaufort Square Shopping Center. One for our housewares, furniture, everything else like that. And then we have our clothing store. We started out, in the Beaufort Square Shopping Center, we started out with just the clothing store, and we had everything in that store. And then after Hurricane Florence, I think we were one of the only thrift stores to remain open. So we were flooded with so many donations. We were so blessed by our community. It's amazing. So we had to expand.
You have 10,000 square feet now, which is a major store.
And we're still crowded,
Right.
which I say that because our thrift stores are so much more than just a thrift store. We take the time to pray with people. We minister to people. Our customers, they come in literally, like our regulars come in every single day, and it's kind of like a family atmosphere. It's really cool. And we always strive to keep our prices as low as possible. I mean, everybody's aware of the inflation that's going on, but we really do try to keep our prices as low as possible because we know that so many people in this county do have financial insecurities. So, another unique thing about our thrift shop is 80% of our gross income came from our thrift store proceeds. The rest come from donors, grants, and fundraisers.
There's no insurance except.
For our, I'll get into that too. Our recovery program, we don't accept insurance, and we don't charge people to be in our recovery program either. So, really, all of our proceeds come from donors and fundraising at our thrift store. But as I mentioned, Tuesdays at noon is prayer time at our thrift store. Really, anytime that anybody ever wants prayer, they can come to our thrift store and we'll stop what we're doing and pray. And our customers are normally okay with that too. I think that really separates us from a lot of other places too, because we really do care about our customers. And without them, this ministry wouldn't be possible. So, another thing is, okay, you're okay. If somebody is in need and cannot afford something, we will absolutely work with them. Every 2 months, we allow them to get a few outfits. I can't remember the exact items, but a couple pairs of pants, a couple pairs of a couple shirts, a pair of shoes, a coat if it's cold, and then we also, if somebody's referred to us by either domestic violence or if they've had their house burned down, natural disaster, we'll work on getting them furniture or whatever they need to. And we don't really require any paperwork or anything. It's just...
Social services calls us
Yeah.
quite a bit and asks us to help disabled folks who don't have any furniture, and we deliver certain cases like
Yeah.
that.
So on this next slide, it's a video of Pastor Bruce just giving a tour of our thrift shop. It's pretty quick.
And this is our housewares thrift shop, which is right down the walkway, the same shopping center from the other thrift shop. I'll walk inside and give you a brief view. We'll try to keep the video short. And here people can get quality items at a very, very low cost. Give you a view of the aisles. This used to be a drugstore, several drugstores actually. So now we turned it into a thrift shop. That used to be the photo section of the drugstore. And we have some beverages that we sell. Here's the children's section, full of toys. I'll walk back this way for a second.
You can go to the next one. Hit it again.
Here's a little bit more of the back of the store. And I'll show you the back where we do the receiving. Now, this used to be the pharmacy of the drugstore. It's our library now. And here's our furniture section. Get quality items at a very low price. And here's some of our guys taking in donations. And this is where we do the sorting at. And people bring donations back here. So that's where we take them in.
And this is a quick video of our clothing store.
This is the clothing store. This will be the second shop we opened up after the one we had on Hendrick Street. Right now, it was our only thrift shop, but now we just sell clothes here. Hey there, and this is Ruth Ewing, one of the best cashiers ever. And here's the inside of the clothing store, recently remodeled. Here's the ladies section. This is the holiday one. Hi, how are you? Good. This is our holiday.
We have two food pantry. Well, one main food pantry is at our clothing thrift store, and that's every Monday from 10 to 1. There's no ID needed. Is it all Carteret County? Mm-hmm. Okay, so all residents of Carteret County. If someone calls and needs emergency food, we'll give it to them, just as long as our thrift store is open. And then we have the one in Harkers Island, which is the last Thursday of each month, and that's at the Harkers Island Fire Department. And that's more of like a mobile food pantry.
Right,
Yeah.
Several thousand pounds of food's brought each Thursday, last Thursday.
Is that just all day?
However long the food lasts.
I
So
think
it
until it
starts-
runs out,
starts
or
about-
people stop coming,
Starts
whichever.
about 1,
In the afternoon?
yeah.
I think there's a video
Till it
too.
runs out.
I just walked out the door of the clothing store. Behind there, we have our food pantry. This is the container where we store the food. People come here and get supplemental food once a week and emergency food upon request. And I'll show you the inside. We partner with the Food Bank of Central and Eastern North Carolina. And over the last about 12 years, we've distributed close to 2 million pounds of food to the community. And so we've outfitted this storage container with heating and air to keep the food at the right temperature. And so this was the heart of the ministry when we first began. And the food has helped draw churches together. And fed hundreds and hundreds of animals.
And then you have a lot of deliveries of fresh produce and milk and things like that that are kind of ad hoc, right? They're not planned.
Right,
You get a day or two notice and
right. We get several
call out to the community, right?
several pallets of fresh produce. The food bank brings them and then we distribute them immediately.
The Dollar General in Beaufort, the one on Live Oak Street, also gives us all of their food that's about to expire, not expired, but so that helps out the community too. A lot of times it's milk or juice or lunch meat.
I have just a quick
Sure.
question. At the end of the day, sometimes the farmers have extra produce. It needs to be eaten, quickly
Yeah.
because it's at the end of the day. We are partnered with, it's not the local food network, but the Food and Health Council.
Yeah.
And I'm usually there at the end of the day, and I have these boxes of fresh produce, and I don't have a place to take them.
That would be wonderful.
So,
and we.
It's on Saturdays at 1. Saturdays at 1.
That's okay. Our thrift store's open till 5, so if you probably call him or
I'm there on Saturdays.
Or just drop it off at the thrift store,
Okay.
honestly.
Yeah, we just don't, sometimes we don't know, and
Um,
we've dropped it off at Storehouse in Moorhead, because they just have like a table out.
Yeah, normally, as long as we post it on Facebook, it's gone within like minutes to
Okay.
hours,
Yeah,
so yeah.
just a source.
It'll
you
get
know.
gone.
Okay, cool.
That's awesome, thank you. So our backpack blessings program, those are some pictures up there of the packings. We provide supplemental food to kids on the weekend that are at risk of going hungry. It's a completely anonymous program. None of the packers or us or anybody except the school teachers and counselors know who gets the food. And that's for all the schools in Beaufort and down east. Over the years, the cost of each bag has remained at $5. We pack about 2,500 meals per month. And there's no guidelines or interviews. If a kid says they're hungry, we're not going to send them home with an application or anything. We're just going to make sure they get food. There's no operating costs or overhead. So all the donations for Backpack Blessings, all the money goes on food. There's no employees that run that. It's strictly volunteer led, which I think makes it a really unique program, and it just shows how many people are passionate about hunger, especially when it comes to children.
So that's a $30,000 a year budget that is donated. Beaufort Women's Club is...
Churches, I'm not going to name all the churches. They run from Core Creek all the way to Cedar Island. There's churches and organizations that help out with that. And
What's the women's club?
the Women's Club, the Rotary Club, Franklin Lodge, and there's several businesses too. So
There's about 40 volunteers that just kind of make this thing go. Every 3 weeks they pack. And it's amazing to me just to see.
Well, they're mainly from the down east churches.
Yep.
And have drawn them together. Was a few years ago, I was told that they had the first community-wide Easter service. They held it at the school in Harper's Island, and it was every church on the whole island.
that's so cool.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Because they had started getting together with the food, the backpacks.
And where does the packing take place?
It's usually at Calvary Baptist because,
They do one at Down East and then at Calvary each month, I think, right?
yeah, COVID kind of changed, uprooted everything. But we used to do it at a different church every month down east. And now it's kind of one church there and one church in Beaufort.
Curtis Going sends out an email each month and lets everybody know where it's going to be and what day and what time. But if anybody knows anybody that's interested in helping with that, you can just shoot me an email and on the cards that I gave you, all of our emails are on the back. So yeah, it's a really great program. This little girl right here, she raised about $1,200 selling oyster shells. Painted oyster shells.
Wow.
So she's currently our youngest volunteer.
That's my next door neighbor's granddaughter. And she would just put the shells all out in the driveway. And she'd just paint them.
Is that right? Well, a promotion, we have a sunrise service at 6:30 at the Beaufort waterfront this Sunday, Easter Sunday, at 6:30. And then Ann Street has a breakfast for the community. It's free at 7:15. So if you're looking for a place to eat breakfast and hear a message from Pastor David, I'd love to have you come.
Don't let that deter you that I'm preaching.
He's a great preacher. So our addiction ministry today, as I said, we started out with Celebrate Recovery, and then we had a men's program. We had a women's program at one point. Men and women together in a program is very difficult, so now we just have men again. Maybe one day if we get big enough, we'll have another women's program. But so we have 2 houses that are in the community that house a total of 10 men for our addiction program. We have 2 phases of our inpatient treatment program. The first is the first 90 days. We do a 30-day blackout period where they're not allowed to call anybody on the outside or get visits. After that 30 days, they can get visits on the weekend and use the phone, but they have to log who they're talking to. And during that period, they work on triggers and stuff like that with our counselor Shannon and Pastor Bruce. We have people in the community that come in and do devotions every morning. Kurt's one of them, several members of Ann Street. And then they have group therapy every day, individual counseling if they're wanting it. Not everybody needs or wants individual counseling. We found that the group counseling is very, very effective. There's various types of counseling and therapy. We do exercise therapy, art therapy, like I said, group and individual.
Thrift store therapy.
Thrift store therapy. So our guys are required to volunteer at our thrift store until, I meant to say, I'm sorry, let me backtrack. The second phase of our treatment program, they are allowed to get a job out in the public. It has to be, they have to be a regular W-2 employee. They can't just work with some guy, because in the past that hasn't worked out. While they're in the program, we do allow them to do odd jobs with people we know. Like I know there's several people from Ann Street that, you know, they're need yard work done or something like that. As long as we know them, we'll let the guys do that just for a little extra spending money. So that helps them and helps the guys. We do require the guys to work at the thrift store, and this helps us because we don't charge anything for our treatment program, and it helps them because it helps them learn to get back in the workforce, which when you're in addiction, a lot of people aren't in the workforce. Detox is required before entering our program, and that's just because we don't have a medical doctor on staff or nurses or anything like that. Most of our referrals come from Dick's Crisis Center in Jacksonville. We also get referrals from Port and Washington, Holly Hill, different places like that. We do outpatient treatment for males and females. So while our inpatient is only for males, if a female is wanting to do outpatient counseling where she's not actually living in one of our houses, we'll do that. And all this is free of cost. Last year, at the beginning of last year, we just noticed that we were turning so many people down because they could not afford to pay the $500 a month for treatment. So we said, well, why don't we just stop charging people? And that was a huge leap of faith, but it's worked out okay. And I found that since we've done that, we're actually, this is good and bad, but we're actually getting calls every single day of people wanting to get into the program. And that's great that people are wanting to get help, but it's bad because we don't have a bed for them. We only have 10 beds. We don't accept insurance, and that's mainly because we don't want them to dictate how long we can treat somebody. Everybody's different. Some people only need 90 days of treatment. Some people might need a year. Myself, I was in Loaves and Fishes program when back when we had females, going on 7 years ago, and I stayed a year. A lot of people don't stay that long, but that's what I needed. So insurance is just one of those things. A lot of times they want you to be better in 30 days, and that's a lot of times not going to happen. So that's why we don't accept insurance. We have an emergency medical fund that was started by, well, Oriole that goes to Ann Street. It was her idea. A lot of the guys come with, they need teeth pulled, they have infected teeth. Most of our guys are on prescription medications. So that emergency medical fund pays for all that, so they don't have to worry about it. Did I forget anything?
And that's a good thing to donate to if you're an organization, because that's, you know, drugs, especially meth, creates huge dental problems.
Yeah.
So we also get free services for real extreme cases from Broad Street Clinic, which does a fabulous job for the men.
Yeah, they're wonderful. They work with a lot of our guys that don't have insurance, and we'll help get them on the dental bus as well.
Yeah, good.
This is a tour of our counseling center.
This part of the ministry started approximately
this part of the
8 years
ministry
ago.
started?
It's the addiction treatment part. We have, it's a residential addiction treatment program, and we have a couple houses where our guys live who are participating in the program. There's our birds. And this is the office. And here's our group room, where we have group counseling. And here is our director of counseling, Shannon. And here's some of the offices. There's Gabby. She is our chief financial officer and chief operating officer. And we have little storage things back here. So this is where we actually have the office. And a lot of counseling takes place right here.
That's just a few pictures of some of the guys that have been in our program. And we do get permission before we post pictures anywhere. Open Water Medical, Mr. Willis, Dr. Willis has been so generous to us through the years. He provides free medical treatment to all of our guys in the program. It's totaled hundreds of guys that he's treated for free. I don't know what we would do without him. He also does devotion with our guys on Tuesdays. And then also Dr. Patterson at Beaufort Vision Clinic provides free eye exams to our residents as well. These services really do help us out. Because like I said, we don't have a doctor or nurse or anything like that on staff.
So Dr. Patterson, Dr. Willis, and the three offices, two thrift stores and the office, they're all within about a half a mile of each other.
Walking distance.
Yep, and the three Loaves and Fishes offices are on opposite ends of the shopping center, so it's all kind of come together over the years. Oops, sorry about that.
Just click out of it, click away from it. Yeah. I just wanted to name or show you all a lot of our major supporters. The list goes on and on. We have a lot of individual donors. In that picture, that's at our thrift store, and that's a lot of the original churches that helped start Loaves and Fishes, so we just like to keep a little memento of that. And then most of them have stayed in contact with us and helped us one way or the other throughout the years. Ann Street is one of our biggest supporters, One Harbor, Lighthouse Community Church, Calvary Baptist, Core Creek, St. Egbert's, First Free Will Baptist, Glad Tidings, Grace Holiness, Grace Presbyterian, Harker's Island, United Methodist, Live Oak Grove, and All Saints. And there's more, and there's businesses that help us out as well. So our hopes for the future, we've always wanted to follow God's lead and help as many people as possible with the funds that He's blessed us with. Like I said, we're having to turn people away from our addiction program because we don't have the beds. So we're really hoping one day to maybe purchase some land, purchase a building, to house more people and to house our thrift store so our money's not having to go on rent, which is a huge overhead cost. And then in turn that money would be used to go back into the community. And we hope to have a homeless shelter one day. That's really big on his heart. So I think one day it will happen. I don't know how long from now, but ways to contribute, volunteer, and any aspect or any part of the ministry, backpack, our food pantry. We have volunteers at our thrift store that are just amazing. Miss Abigail does our linens and Miss Joyce does our library, like an actual library. We love our volunteers, so if you know anybody that's looking for somewhere to volunteer, we can always use them. Monetary donations, any unwanted goods that you have, you can drop off to our thrift store. The only thing we don't take is mattresses, box springs, sleeper sofas, anything like that. In-kind donations, prayer, that's one of the most important ones. We can always use prayer. And then even like make a meal for our guys. It says make our guys a meal, or even give them an encouraging word. A lot of our thrift store customers will drop off something to eat for the guys, and that really boosts their spirits. So. And okay, does anybody have any questions?
Wow, this is great. Very
What's
good.
your overhead, David, for the thrift stores? What's your rent?
So for all three spots, for the counseling center and the 2 thrift shops, it's about $15,000 a month.
So we're hoping to build eventually, buy or build, so that we can stop the huge overhead. At least we could be paying towards something, have some equity.
So the total square footage is something like 12,300 or somewhere in that range. So they have
11.5
good,
right now.
11.5. So they have really good. They have really good rates because
Yep.
landlord loves the ministry.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was amazed at the cost per square foot. So it is high. It is.
Oh,
but
that's
it's-
not high.
No, I mean high as a percent
Sure.
of the total, but it's very.
It's just hard for us financially as like a smaller nonprofit. He's awesome for charging us such low rent, but it's still a lot more than we would hope to pay.
So you're definitely seeing the addiction services, the need rate rising
Yes.
up. I mean, I
Yes.
think we're, as a county, we're seeing more.
It's worse and worse.
I was behind a car where a young man overdosed driving on the causeway, and he was slumped over the wheel, and his car was just meandering, and ended up coming to a stop, and they called an ambulance and put him on the ambulance, but it's just a miracle that he didn't die. I mean, they were doing CPR on him at first.
And unfortunately, there's not, that I know of, there's not a lot of places in the state that do take people for free. A lot of people don't have insurance and they don't have a way to pay for
Or they're not
treatment.
motivated to even seek help, that's,
And that's a problem
But
too.
when it's just becoming so much more obvious, to me, my husband works as a boat captain, and so there's a lot of issues around the water and the people that are working boats. And I mean, there's mandatory drug testing for people who work on boats, but there's still a big problem in that area. So, I don't know what-
Carteret County ranks #1 in the state out of 100 counties in suicide,
yeah.
and is in the top 3 or 4 every time they survey in opioid overdoses. And then we have a food scarcity index of between 15 and 20% of the population. So these things all fit together. They also fit together with David and Gabby and Shannon's ministry.
Right.
Unfortunately, they fit together, right? I mean,
In a county that doesn't want to recognize that we have homelessness.
right.
Amen.
Yeah, they want
Because
to,
we're a tourist
right.
county.
But we have 2 guys now that were sleeping under the Warren Bridge. They've been under there for some time.
We have a small group behind the Rosses in Morgan.
Now, are you also seeing the backpack blessings growing as well? Is there more of
Not too much.
because a lot of those COVID resources are going to be going away.
I think during COVID, I want to say maybe 10 or 15 more kids, which that is a lot. Over the years, it's kind of stayed about 150 to 170. I don't know the exact number,
Does
but
anybody know when the expanded food stamp, like the, what is it, EBT program, all
I'm
that
not
was
sure.
expanded, but that's gonna,
Yeah.
it's all gonna kind
The
of,
Food Bank Central and Eastern North Carolina is cutting it out now. And they've already cut anything that was related to COVID, and we're going back to you get the amount of food according to how many kids you have on, free lunches or food stamps, and however many people we actually see. They take all that into consideration. So the COVID donations are over with, as far as food bank is concerned.
Well, thank you, Gabby. Thank you very much.
Thank y'all for coming and listening to us. And
Does anybody attending via Zoom have any questions for our presenter, Gabby? Okay, other than that, I don't think I had an opportunity to give our Zoom attendees a quick chance to introduce themselves, and I see some have already dropped off, unfortunately, but I'm going to go ahead and let both of you introduce yourselves. We have 2 people left on here, and go ahead and unmute yourselves and introduce.
Okay, I can start. I'm Yubi Gazzarelli. I'm an engagement network coordinator with the Food Bank of Central and Eastern North Carolina. I also volunteer with St. James Thrift Shop at Newport as a social media ambassador, and I'm on the communication committee with the Cataract Long-Term Recovery Alliance. And I live in this community for the last 6 years. This is my community. I love you all and everything for everything you do. Pastor Bruce, thank you so much for serving the community. Wonderful presentation, Gabby. And thank you for the tour of the pantry. I think I'm going to count that as our site visit, you know.
Good.
And as you all know, I'm always here and I'm always in support of each and one of you and your nonprofits. And please reach out if anyone has any needs. So food bank or anything. I'm pretty handy and pretty good at all the nonprofit world. So thank you again, and it was great.
Yowita, can you also say a word about the event happening, I think it's in May, at the Civic Center?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, so if you can turn the computer so I can hear you better. Oh yeah, there you go.
Okay, the Civic Center, you had an event coming up in May. Can you tell us about that, please?
Yes, absolutely. I think I see Julia there as well. Hey, that one. Yes, Cataract Long-Term Recovery Alliance, with a partnership with the Cataract Emergency Department, is going to put out an event. It's going to hopefully be an annual event. It's the 3rd year in going. It's a Hurricane Preparedness and Recovery Expo. It is an event for the community of Cataract County. All the nonprofits and for-profits are welcome to attend. If anyone wants to, Julia can send the sign-up link to you guys. And the event will be held on May 10th from 9 to 1 o'clock at the Civic Center in Morehead City. We're hoping to have a good support from the nonprofits. It is a great way to reach out to the community, to get them prepared for a disaster. We all know we're hoping for not to have another one. However, it doesn't hurt to be prepared for if it happens. As well as this is a great opportunity for nonprofits to be out there, put the word there exists, get the community to know where the resources are, as well for nonprofits themselves to see each other, get to know each other, and network. So please spread the news. If it comes to for-profits, the ones we would like to really see participating in that is real estate agents, roofers, anyone who rebuilds, insurance companies, anyone that has anything to do that can help our citizens to be prepared and stay prepared. So spread the news and please reach out to Julia. She's right there. She can share the link to sign up. So thank you.
Great, thank you very much for that overview on that. And Chef Caroline, would you like to say a word?
Good morning. I'm Chef Caroline with Carteret Local Food Network. I'm here at our hub this morning, which is on Willis Farm property in Newport. Behind me is our veggie van, so I'm actually actively loading our van today, so I couldn't be there in person. We have a mobile market. We operate 4 days a week right now, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We have a very robust schedule. We went from 6 locations last year to 12 locations this year, so we're very excited about that. We also are expanding our veggie van operation. We are retrofitting a retired school bus, so you'll be able to pop on, buy the local groceries from Carteret County farmers, pop off, and it's going to be awesome. So you'll be seeing what I'm calling the flying tomato soon, right when the short bus, and you won't be able to miss it. So I'm excited to be here. Again, if anybody has any needs for a veggie van, you know, we don't We don't typically provide free food, but it is at low cost. We have a lot of incentives with the grants that we work with since we are nonprofit. We have a couple of partnerships with different universities that provide different incentives. We go to senior centers, senior-based housing, income-based housing. We partnered with the hospital to do a private event for their employees, so we're always looking for different establishments that want to provide fresh local produce to their residents or constituents or consumers in a variety of ways. We also do farm-to-table dinners, culinary classes, and we have an event coming up with a collaboration at Beaufort Picture Show. We'll be doing dinner and a movie. It'll be a movie about a truffle hunting pig, and then we'll have a vegetarian affair afterwards with mushrooms. So we're excited about that partnership. And yeah, I'm just going to finish loading up the veggie van so I can hit the first market today. So thank you guys for the report, and I appreciate it.
I wanted to say one more thing about the farmers market that's opening this weekend. This is an incredible place for you as a nonprofit to advertise what you do. That Ann Street Men's Group sells peanuts, as we've said before. Last year we sold $10,724 worth of peanuts, and we turned that money back to the community, some of it to Loaves and Fishes. Loaves and Fishes sells 3 cases every 3 weeks of our peanuts. But I would encourage you to get involved with the market. It now has crossed over being $1 million a season, so it's a major event. People love coming out, and we have found that it's not just the peanuts, but we can talk about what we do as a community with people. We encourage people to move here. We tell them about Loaves and Fishes and other ministries that we have, and we just absolutely love the market. It gives us a great way to connect. So.
Great, thank you. Are there any additional questions from anybody regarding our presentation today? If not, what I would like to do is think about who might want to host a meeting next month, similar to what we're doing here today. I don't know if there's someone in the room that wants to host. Otherwise, what we can do is sort of put the word out via email and see about getting a host location for next month's meeting. To look at my phone, see what the date is. What's the second Thursday?
12th.
The 12th, May 12th. Yes, May 12th at 8:30 a.m. Is there anyone here that would like to host?
I can host.
You want to try and host it?
Come
Okay,
on,
awesome.
Come on to have it.
All right, good.
Oh, nice.
Good.
So we're going to have Habitat for Humanity host our next meeting.
Great.
And, so I'll just get the information from you.
Sure.
And we'll try and do it again through Zoom. So we'll do it as a hybrid meeting if we can. I'm seeing a question coming in through chat. Let me just say, oh, no, Yoita was just letting me know that she was hopping off. Okay, well, thank you again for attending. Chef Caroline, I hope you have a great day trying to get your deliveries done. And I'm going to turn off the Zoom portion and let people continue to network in person. Bye, thanks for coming.
Bye.
We can set up Zoom in the conference room, that's not a problem.
Okay, so do you want to be the host of the Zoom meeting, or do you want me to be the host of the Zoom?
No, you can just plug your computer right into our screen and host away.
Oh, okay, awesome. I'll send out the link again.
Thank you.
Okay, great. And so I guess the meeting is officially over,
right,
and then there's
okay.
some networking time
Thank
for all of you.
Thank you.
But thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Thank you.
doing this. This is
Yes,
great.
thank you.
Thank you.